Hello everybody and welcome to the D.G.S.R Sim Racing Assetto Corsa Competizione League race here at the Nürburgring. This is the fourth race in the league, and just a reminder, here's how the weekend goes. The races get a 20-minute practice session, followed by a 15-minute qualifying and a first race of 20 minutes. Then a second qualifying of 10 minutes, and finally a 30-minute race. Let's have a look at the grid for the first race. In P1, we have Morris, followed by Barros in P2. In P3, we have Zick, followed by Stevens in P4. In P5, we have Joswick, followed by Long in P6. In P7, we have McElligott, followed by Hale in P8. In P9, we have Pichon, and rounding up the top 10, we have Raiola in P10. In P11, we have Muir, followed by Norton in P12. In P13, we have Worley, followed by Ridge in P14. In P15, we have Durand, followed by Engel in P16. In P17, we have Toblerone, followed by Speaking Leash in P18. In P19, we have Hillier, followed by Ascom in P20. And finally, in P21, we have DL, followed by Villesen in P22. You join me then as we head into the last corner of the Nürburgring, the Coca-Cola curve. Barros keeping the grid well stacked up behind him on the outside there. Morris leading the group. So we head now into the start-finish straight. And Joswick going very close to Zick there. As we head to the line, 5 lights, and we are away here at Nürburgring. Zick up to a very good start, overtaking Barros immediately and almost getting in front of Morris as we head into the first corner. I think Morris is going to have the inside line going through here, but Zick will have the inside line going through the next corner. And yeah, Zick is into the lead after the first turn. Behind Zick then we've got Morris and then Barros, followed by Stevens, Joswick. I think McElligott is up into 6th. Oh, what was that? I think that was Hale having a little bit of a touch there as he heads through that corner. Yeah, not quite giving Raiola. Maybe Raiola should have backed off there, but possibly a racing incident. But that's lost Raiola a bit of time. But Hale's managed to stay in 8th position. Behind him, Pichon. Then in front of Raiola now, I think, is Norton, and I'm not quite sure who the other car is. Is that Ridge? Yeah, that's Ridge. Ridge up into P14. Then they're followed by Raiola, Muir, who's dropped a few places. Hillier, who's managed to get himself up into, I think that's P15, something like that. Followed by a few races there. Zick then in the lead, making quite a decent gap between himself and Morris. Morris almost a second behind as he gets moved by Barros around the outside as they head through. Ooh, as there was a bit of an incident there. Let's have a quick look at that. So Morris has got quite a big Oh, sorry. So he comes around the inside. Yeah. So difficult to tell who's at fault there. Yeah, I think Morris maybe could have turned in a little bit more, slowed down. So they both cost them a bit of space. Oh, it's Stevens. I dropped back to have a look at Stevens because I thought he was next, but he's also having trouble. So following that, they go off. Stevens goes rounds, gets re-hit by Morris, and then McElligott, and then re-hits Pichon. So I think that's McElligott now up into P2. As Long goes wide as well. I think that was a little kerfuffle between himself and Joswick. Yeah, that was a bit of a weird one. That one, I think maybe Long squeezed him a little bit, but I think Joswick could have backed off. Possibly a racing incident, although Long lost a lot of time there. Morris then, behind them in, I think, P4 at this point, trying to get back up into his position as he almost gets squeezed out there by Joswick. As we head now into lap 2 Sorry, to those head now into lap 2. So a lot's happened in the first lap. Zik making a very good lead with McElligott in second place, who's up from I think 7th. So he's had a very good first lap. He's followed then by Hale, who's also had a very good first lap, despite his little touch with Raiola earlier on. Joswick in P4, Morris in P5, Pichon following close behind in P6. Ridge having a very good race in P7 there. He's managed to get from, I think, around P13, P14 up into 7th as he's followed quite closely by Norton then. Barros in P9 there, followed closely by Raiola. Let's ride on board with Barros for a little bit as he tries to get past Norton, I think that is. As he heads down. Ooh, as Ridge goes a little wide there, that gives Barros a little bit of an opportunity. Go through the... that corner's called the Dunlop Kia, I think. This is the Michael Schumacher S's. Sorry if I'm butchering the lovely German language. It's not a language I've ever learnt. Ooh, as Barros does a little switcheroo, gets a little touch from Ridge there, I think, but he keeps it on the track. And he's heading now into, I think he's P7 now, so he's making his way back through the field. Now it looks like Hale's had a bit of an issue, because I think he was further up the field. So he must have had a bit of a problem at some point. That's how I'm imagining it. Possibly. Actually, it was back in lap 2, wasn't it? Yeah, he's in 3rd place here. This is the beginning of lap 2, going through the Mercedes arena. And then the forward curve. Oh, he goes wide before the forward curve. Comes back on. Not a great exit. Joswick hits him, which gives Morris and Pichon the opportunity to catch up a little bit there. That's unfortunate for Hale, and a little unfortunate for Joswick, actually. As McElligott's making a decent amount of time between himself and Hale. So this is where we caught up with... I think Raiola makes a move on, I think that's Norton. And here's where I think Barros makes the move on Ridge at some point around here. Yep, he goes around the outside into the Schumacher S's. It's not the Schumacher S's, my mistake. That's the Warsteiner curve, I think. Oh, yeah. So a quick rundown of the field then. So we've got Zik in P1, McElligott up in P2, Joswick in P3, Morris in P4. Hale now up into P5 as he goes wide and gets Pichon through again. So actually that's Pichon in P5, Hale in P6, I think, followed by Barros, Ridge having a very good race, Raiola up into P9, Norton in P10, Muir in P11, Long in P12. Got a lot of time to catch up after him going wide. Speaking Leash in P13, also having a very good race. Toblerone in P14. Worley in P15. Ascom in P16. Hillier in P17. Durand in P18. Engel in P19. Valessen in P20. Stevens in P21, having a not particularly good race so far. And finally, Dial, who's currently in the pits. He must have sustained some damage in that first couple of laps there. All right, let's go have a look at... we're going to jump to... I'm thinking Long. He's very close behind Muir at this point. He's also... Oh, as Muir goes wide, Long's able to catch up closely behind... I think that's Raiola. I think has Norton got in front of Raiola? Yes, he has. As we head into the Dunlop Kia. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that, if I'm honest, so I'm just going to call it the Dunlop corner. We head up into the Michael Schumacher S's, running very close, little train of a few cars by both Raiola and Long catching Norton here. So we go to the RTL curve and the Warsteiner curve. This is Advan Bogan, I think. P corner 12. And finally the NGK chicane. Was it NGK? Yep. And finally the Coca-Cola curve as David goes on the inside line, looking at up the inside of Raiola. Raiola up close behind the back of him. This could be a very interesting turn one. Raiola, as Long looks onto the inside of Raiola. And he's going to go for it. He gets it round. But is Raiola going to come back on it? Into the second corner. He isn't. Where is Raiola? Oh, he's gone wide. Okay, so Long has made that move up into P10 and now on the back of Norton and Ridge. Let's jump up to Pichon, who's close to the back of Barros at the moment. As the field has begun to spread out a little bit. As we head through, I'm not sure if that's named, I think that was the Ford curve. And then down to Dunlop. He keeps it in second. We go through that. And the Aston Martin, I have to go down first for that corner. And then through the Schumacher curves. Looks like Barros is pulling away a little bit from Pichon here. As he goes a little bit wide through that corner and hits the gravel. That's going to cost him a bit of time. But he's got Hale for company now in P7. He's had a sort of up and down race as of yet. He did well to get up into sort of P3, P4 time, and then had a bit of a mistake that cost him quite a few places. Behind them, then we've got Ridge, Norton, and Long, who are all riding quite close together, and Raiola, in fact, as they go through the HGK chicane. Oh, as Norton's down in P12. What's happened there? Let's go have a look at that. So I missed that somewhere. There's somewhere around here. So he heads through, what's this one? Into the RTL curve. Oh, he skids and goes wide. What's happened there? Was he touched? Yeah, Long hits him, sending him wide. That's unfortunate. Which puts Norton wide and drops a number of places behind Speaking Leash. It's unfortunate for him. Getting very close there with Speaking Leash. So Speaking Leash, I think up into P12, P11, P12, P11. Excuse me. As we head into lap number 5. So another quick rundown. We've got Zick, 8 seconds in the lead, quite significantly in the league here at Nurburgring. Followed by McCalligot, a good 4 seconds ahead of P3 in P2. Morris in P3, trying to chase down McCalligot as best as he can. And he's got Joswick for company in P4. A few seconds behind them, we've got Barros, who's managed to make his way back up into P5. A couple of seconds behind him, we've got Pichon, who's got Hale for company in P7. 1 or 2 seconds behind them, we've got Ridge, who's just been overtaken by Long. Let's have a quick look at that. So I think Long's got better exit from the Coca-Cola curve and has overtaken Ridge then on the straight, putting himself into P8 and Ridge in P9 as we head into turn 1. Raiola has a little bit of a look, but doesn't quite have the position, not quite close enough. But yeah, Raiola down in P10, followed by Speaking Leash, who's got himself up into P11 and a very good race. Norton in P12 after that unfortunate tap he had in the RTL curve. Followed then by Toblerone and quite closely by Muir. A few seconds behind them then we've got Askham, followed very closely by Durand. P17 we've got Helia. P18 we've got Villessen, followed very closely by Engel in P19. Stephen still having trouble in P18. Close behind him, we've got Wally in P21. He's not had a terribly good race so far by the looks. And DL, who's unfortunately had that pitting. And I think he's being caught up. Is that by Zik? Yes, he's being caught up by Zik, so he's now a back marker. Right, let's have a look at the battle for P6 then. Hale was having a look up the outside of Pichon as we head through the RTL curve. Keeping it tidy through there. Pichon's going to have a better exit as they head through the Warsteiner curve. Gets a better run through there, and he's going to look up the inside of him going through the chicane. Again, ooh, bit of struggle. I don't know if there was any contact there. Let's have a quick look, shall we? Head through the chicane. Their little battle. Oh, yeah, a bit of contact. Pichon doesn't quite give enough space to Hale as he perhaps should. Little touch through the chicane. That's given Long the opportunity to catch up with these two, their little battle, as we head into the straight. This is starting their lap 6. So the battle for P6 is hotting up, as it looks like Long's got a pretty good run on Hale himself as he heads up the inside. Well, Hale's a little bit all over the place as Long heads up the inside. He's going to have to go around the outside through the second turn, which is going to lose him some time. Yeah, and gives Hale the opportunity, but he might do the switch round and get him on the inside through the Mercedes arena, which he does do. Again, it's going to be a struggle. He's got to keep him on the inside here. Oh, he's managed to get a good exit, and he has taken P7 from Hale. That's given Pichon a little bit of breathing space for the time being. Oh no, good battle. Looks like Morris has taken Joswick. Let's have a quick look at that, if we can find that. They were fighting for P3 and P4. Oh, he's done it quite a way away. Sorry, I missed that. God, he did that ages ago. Was I imagining it? I might have been imagining it. Alright, let's jump back. So Morris is now in P3, Joswick in P4. Barros still in P5, got a bit of a way to go. Yeah, I was a little bit further ahead than this. There we go, that's about right. Okay then, what should we have a look at? A little bit further ahead. We were, I think, yeah, that's about around where we were. Long just taken Hale. Let's jump back to Toblerone, who's going up close behind Muir. Running in P14 at the moment, having a reasonable race. Head through Ford curve. Quite a long train of cars here through the midfield, all within, a second of each other. As he heads through the Schumacher S's. Ooh, but he heads wide on the exit there, and that's going to cost him a fair amount of time. Let's jump to Ridge. He's running close behind Raiola, Hale and Long. Sort of battle for the last few places of the top 10. Turns in a little bit late there. He heads through the chicane. He's going to look for a good exit out of the Coca-Cola curve. I'm going to jump to Raiola to see if he's close enough to Hale to make a move. Not quite. Looks like Long's getting up the back of Pichon though. Oh, is Hale? He'll go too wide. Raiola took that corner quite tightly. Jump up to Long. He's looking around, trying to make the switcheroo on Pichon as he heads out of the Mercedes arena. He's not quite got the exit that he needs. So we head through turn 5 and turn 6 forward curve. Might look to get him under braking going through Dunlop. He might not be quite close enough, no. So possibly through the exit then. Gets on the power early. Touch of oversteer, I think, as we head through the Schumacher coast. Getting very close to Pichon then, putting him right under pressure. As we head into the LTO curve, he's going to have a look up the inside, but no, he's not quite close enough to make the move yet. As he's got Hale for company up the back of him as well. Getting very close now for the battle for P6. As we head through the Advan Boggan and the chicane. Oh, again, very close at the back of Pichon. Doesn't get on the power too early. Is it nice and tightly through here? Giving himself a bit of a gap between himself and Hale. Looks up the inside, go down the straight. Might get him under braking. Oh, he's fine with this first corner though. You don't necessarily got the move. You don't know if you got the move done until the second turn. As I think Pichon goes, oh yeah, gets a much better exit out of turn 1, and Pichon gets into the lead again. Well, into P6 again. As they head through the Mercedes arena around here. Exciting battle, which given the opportunity for Raiola and Hale to catch up with these two. And it is also given the Barros the opportunity to get away with it in P5 as he's found himself behind Joswick after having to chase up about 4 seconds. Ride on board with him for a little while. See if he can manage to get up into P3. Oh, hang on a minute. He's made the move on Joswick. My mistake. Let's have a quick look at that, shall we? Let's find out where that happened. Okay, so he's behind Joswick at the end of lap 7. We go through the chicane. And then through Coca-Cola curve into the straight. Doesn't look like he's close enough to make the move on turn 1, so maybe it's in the first few turns that he manages to overtake. Oh, he does make it up turn 1. He takes a little bit more speed through the corner and manages to get past Joswick, who's very close behind him, but he's made the move. Let's jump ahead a little bit then, as he's trying to chase Morris. Morris has some problems with, I think that's some back markers there. So Barros then on the back of Morris now. So Morris in P3, Barros in P4. He heads through the Schumacher S's. So is he going to be able to make up 2 places in this lap? Not quite close enough to do it through the RTL curve, but he's going to take that nice and wide and gets right up the back of Morris. A little bit of an oversteer. Loses him a bit of time there through that corner. Down through Bogdan. Advan Boggan. And the chicane. narrowly avoids that curb on the right-hand side. As Morris goes a touch wide. But I don't think Barros is... I think I said last lap he might not be close enough to make the move, but maybe he is. Heads out wide. Ooh, makes a look up the inside into turn 2. But Morris has got a little bit more speed, but I think Barros is going to get him under braking going into the Mercedes arena. And I think that is the move made for Barros. So Barros managing to get back up into P3. Done a very good job. The two of them have done a very good job to get back up into P3 and P4. Unfortunately, McElligott is 12 seconds in front of them. And Morris looks like he wants that position back. But I think Barros, for the time being, has just about made it. Yeah, 12 seconds up the road then, we've got McElligott in P2. And in front of him, 12 seconds ahead of McElligott is Zick. So only, I think, 5 seconds in front of Barros is McElligott. I think Morris has got Joswick for company now. Battle for P4. Interesting to see where that battle goes. Well, let's jump back then to let's jump back to this little group of cars around P8 to P12. So we've got Muir, the back of the trailer cars in P12, following closely to Norton, who's following Speaking Leash. And then you've got Ridge and Pichon up a little way ahead as well. P8 and P9. As I think, is that Ridge making a move on Pichon? He's having a look up the outside, going through the chicane, but he's not going to risk it. Probably for the better. Pichon's coming up on some back markers here as we head into lap 10. Only a couple more laps to go. It's a very electric car sort of noise, the Porsche. I don't know whether that's just me or... So Ridge doing a very good job to keep it in P9. Again, I think he started a little ways down in a sort of P13, P14, something like that. So he's done well to keep his position. Following him then, Speaking Leash, a bit of a gap now. He's got Norton for company. As we go through the forward curve, Norton going, braking a little bit too hard, making sure Speaking Leash has the space. So we go down into the Dunlop corner. Speaking Leash goes a touch wide, which might give Norton the opportunity to power up as Speaking Leash comes back in front of him. And they go quite close together through the S's as Speaking Leash goes wider, but not too wide. To the... Ooh. Skids a bit of there, a bit of a drift, just going to lose him some time, but he still managed to keep with Speaking Leash. See if you can get the run on him through Ad Van Boggen and the chicane. No, it looks like the Lexus is pulling away from him a little bit there. Porsche not having the best straight line speed. As they both go quite wide through the Coca-Cola curve and into the straight. Yeah, and you can see the Lexus there, even though I would say they had similar exits, the Lexus getting away from him there, so he's going to have to get him through the corners, I think, through turns. Ooh, what happened there? What's happened there? That was Muir. Muir making the move on Norton. Not braking at all and hitting into Speaking Leash. She sent wide. It's So that gives Ridge P9. No, sorry, P9. He was already in P9. But, I mean, speaking leash. Actually, I think, yeah, he's basically given the position to Norton. Not quite. Norton went a little bit deep in there. I was a bit worried about hitting speaking leash, so he goes heads off a little bit. He gets a better exit through there than the speaking leash, I think. So he's going to possibly make the move through the forward curve. He backs out of that corner a little bit. He probably could have gone side by side through that corner. You'd probably be okay. Yeah, doesn't quite get the position done. So despite Muir hitting speaking leash off, not a huge amounts changed there. Ridge getting up very close and personal with Pichon. The top 10 now quite spaced out. The actions at the back. Let's jump back to Durand, who's I think just made a move on. Is that Askin ahead? Yeah, it's Askin ahead. Sorry, I thought that was Engel ahead of him. So Durand then close behind Askin. It must be nearing the end of the race now. Yeah, this is the last lap, in fact, I think. Either this or the... Yeah, it must be the last lap because Zink has finished the race. So let's go have a look at him across the line. So with a 16-second lead, Zink has won this first race here at the Nürburgring. He heads through Coca-Cola curb one more time. And across the line in P1. There we go. McElligott then having a very good race after pretty much his first lap when he manages to get up into P2. He's just kept it clean and stayed ahead of the rest of the competition. And he's got a good 3 to 4 second lead as he crosses the line himself in P2. Barros 3 seconds behind in P3. Morris has kept Joswick away and is crossing the line in P4. Joswick in P5. Long coming around and to P6. He's had a pretty good race, managing to get back up to that position despite some problems near the beginning. Hale in P7. Pichon in P8 by the looks of it, followed quite closely by Ridge in P9, also had a good race. Speaking Leash in P10, Norton in P11, Muir in P12, Toblerone in P13, Askim P14, Durin P15, Viola P16, Wally quite some ways behind Viola in P17, Hillier then in P18, Engel in P19. I think the recording is going to stop at some point around here. Yeah, so just double check the results, but I think, yeah, Engel in P19, Stevens in P20, Valessen in P21, and DL in P22. Thank you very much for watching this first race here at the Nürburgring. Make sure you check out the second race, which is a 30-minute race at night. And thanks all for watching, and goodbye.